Hello, I'm Kurt Heins. I'm going to be doing two auditions, one for the U.S. Air Force Ceremonial Brass, which is a live audition. I'll have to fly out to Washington, D.C. and play that audition. The other audition is a pre-recorded audition where I play the excerpts and the solos and send it in, and they tell me if I got in or not. That's for the Civic Orchestra of Chicago. Two very different auditions. The Air Force one, obviously being live, I have one shot at it. The Civic audition being pre-recorded, I have as many takes as I care to do. This is going to be a journey of my thoughts and what I think about playing through about the next 2-ish months. So it should be interesting. Auditions are unlike any other musical experience that we have as musicians. In concerts, our goal is to make the best music as possible. In an audition, it's about impressing a panel of people, maybe 3 or 4 people, and you just have to make an impression, and they have to be like, they have to say to themselves, I want to hear this person again in the final round. Or if there is no final round, in the case of the Civic audition, they have to say, we want this person in our orchestra. And that has to be their full thought, because they're looking at maybe, even just for horn, just maybe 50 to 100 videos on the low side. And it might be a difference of one missed note, and they say, oh, next person. Can't have this person in our orchestra. That's what we have to train to do. When we practice for playing an audition, it's much different than when we practice, say, like a solo or any of our normal ensemble repertoire that we may be working on at the time. For auditions, you have to play every note perfectly, with the right articulation, the right amount of volume, the right kind of attack. Everything has to be page printed perfect. Whereas with a solo or any in a context of an actual ensemble, you can have more creative freedom with making music with what's on the page versus playing what is on the page to a T absolutely perfectly. In an audition, that's what you have to do. And that's why we sit in the practice rooms for hours on end, practicing maybe just the same 8 measures over and over and over again to make sure that we can consistently play what's printed on the page absolutely 100% note perfect. Preparing for auditions is a very different thing. For the live audition, the Air Force audition, I have to play everything perfectly, given 1 or 2 opportunities. The Civic audition, for that orchestra, pre-recorded audition, I have as many takes as I want, essentially. I can go back and re-record and take as many takes as I want until I get one that I like. Makes it slightly less stressful. The level of playing has to be that much higher and that much more perfect. When we as musicians are in the practice room, our main objective is to learn and become better at what we do, which hopefully translates to the music that we play. For auditions, when we practice for auditions, it's very different, as I've said before. When we practice normally, we're practicing to better ourselves. When we practice for auditions and those kind of things, we practice perfection, which is not exactly bettering ourselves as musicians to do that. It's just to practice playing everything 100% note perfect, page printed perfect. That's not the most beneficial way to practice and get better as a musician, but when we have auditions, that's what we have to do. And you run into players who practice playing audition excerpts all the time and can't read their normal music that they have, or even solos that they aren't required to play for auditions, simply because they practice perfection with those particular excerpts and those particular solos, so much so that they lose track of where they are as a musician. And it's a difficult balance to strike between bettering yourself as a musician and as a well-rounded musician, and essentially being in audition mode and practicing perfection. So today is Monday, December 7th, 2015. I'd already had a full cut of this done before today happened. Got an email this morning from U.S. Air Force. I sent my resume in, and I expected that was going to be basically all that they wanted to see before they would accept anyone for a live audition, being it is requiring a flight out to Washington. They emailed me this morning, said, due to a high number of highly qualified candidates, they are not able to accept me for a live audition at this time. So there goes that one. I've lost that one, and I haven't even played a note for them. They haven't heard me play yet. Civic audition, I still have a little over a month to get that one in. It's due early-ish January, I think. And that one they can't refuse me, simply because I send it in, and based on the number of applications they get and recordings that they get, so that one they can't say no.